Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm going to talk about the psychological secrets to abundance and scarcity with women for you men, so you can either get out of this feeling of scarcity and into abundance, so you can feel freer and better in your relationships and in dating and in your life just in general. What you're going to learn in today's session is really the psychological secrets of abundance and scarcity, why we might be getting in them, also too, why we may feel like we're not good with women, and how to get that relationship we want or better your relationship. Also too, I'm going to give you takeaways of what you're going to be able to do and implement in your life and actually have a better understanding of why we need to and why we get into these habits. But here's what I'm going to ask you all to do is to understand that what I'm going to share with you is not always going to be easy to hear. But in order for us to have success in our life, in dating and relationships, we have to also be honest with ourselves. So I'm going to ask you guys to be honest with yourself. And if something is triggering you in a way where it's like, oh, I don't know if I like this, but it's hard to hear. And oh my gosh, Apollonia, you are just not a good person right now. I hate you, right? Let's just say we go to that extreme. I want you to stay there and actually listen to your thoughts on why. So let's get into it. So scarcity mindset. I want to go over what the scarcity mindset really is, guys. And I want to kind of bring it into an illusional thought, right, of where we've been in our lives, right? So many men that I've coached can find themselves, or so many people that I know and men can find themselves in people, not only men, but in scarcity mentality and scarcity mindset. You find yourselves in scarcity mindset because of the way that you view life or your specific life, your life or yourself. So many men can complain about, their dating life and, their life in general or where they are. And here's why. There's typically two reasons why we complain in regards to our life. And that's one is they haven't really screened women successfully in the past and really have a scarcity of options, to be honest, right? And then two, you come from a place of lack when it comes to dating women, right? So let me explain. Scarcity isn't based on reality, guys. It really isn't. Scarcity is a learned behavior. When we're born in this world, we don't just end up scared all the time. We rely on our parents to comfort us, nurture us, and all so much more. And there's a lot more to that if we didn't receive it, but that's for a whole nother topic in life, of course. But scarcity isn't based on reality. Here's why. It can be very few, like just say if you live in a very small town, right? With just a couple hundred people, but even then, there's women there that can be abundant as well. There's abundance of women that are probably a little bit better in there, right? And so in smaller towns. So here's the thing, scarcity isn't based on reality. It's based on your intentions and your mindset. It's not that there aren't many women available, because there is many women available, okay? It's about what type of woman is in front of you, and change your mindset to know that you think you can get and date a woman. Instead, you know that you can get and date a woman. If you choose not to interact with women and you think that you are not that kind of guy that's going to attract women, then you will not attract women, guys. Because then we think in the scarcity mindset that makes us stay here is, I'm not attractive enough. I need to get a better job before I get a girlfriend. This always happens to me. But yet, when I ask, what do you mean it always happens to me? You've only had 3 run-ins with women, and you define that as this always happens to me. I just had a session with a guy, and I told him he needs to get out of his comfort zone, because he's only really dated 3 women in his past, and he's in his 30s, and then he classifies this always happens to me. It doesn't always happen to you because you have limited resources and you're not living abundantly in your life and going after what you truly want, and you're not facing your fears. And we're going to go into that a little bit. So, and you have this mentality that this always happens to me. Or you might say something like, oh, I just need to be rich, right? So many times I've heard that, oh, I just need to have a Lamborghini. I just need to. No, That is not the case. Scarcity can not only take place in being single or when you're dating, but in your relationships as well, in life too. Scarcity mentality is a belief that this person that I'm dating or this feeling that I'm having or anything in life is limited. I will repeat. Scarcity mentality is a belief that this person, feeling, or anything in our life is limited. So I ask you right now to kind of like do a scan of your mental thoughts. What in your life right now, and put it in the chat box, put it in the comments, what in your life, when you close your eyes and you do a scan, besides the years of life that we have on this earth, we all know are limited. That is obviously why we want to have the best life possible. But what in your life are you convincing yourself right now that is limited? I want to know, guys. I want to know, are you convincing yourself that this woman that you're dating is limited, meaning I will never find a good woman like this again? I will never be able to attract a pretty woman like her again. I will never be able to get a raise from my job. I will never be able to get a better job. I will never be able to lose this weight. I will never be able to attract women. I will never be able to get out of my comfort zone. I will never be able to travel. I will never be able to make money. How many of us have said any of these things? What right now, claim it in the comments, are you limiting yourself from in life in general? Because it's very easy to go into the scarcity mindset because this is what feels safe. Because I don't have to get rejected here. Because I don't have to feel feelings of rejection or inadequacy. Because I don't have to feel like I'm not good enough. Because if I stay safe, then I'm just going to be comfortable, right? And so we don't outright say these things, but we act from these things, guys. I say this because we all come from some type of scarcity, right? And so from that, so many things can happen to people. I've seen clients have the same stories and they have issues with food. They have issues with self-confidence. They have issues with money because they're scared it's going to be taken away. People wake up in cold sweats when they make money. A lot of people think, oh, when you make money, you have it easy. Actually, more money, more problems, how they say that. It's not the truth, but yet your mindset always adjusts to new things. And it's about adjusting and reacquainting ourselves with what are we limiting ourselves from and what are we thinking of a limiting resource? Because everything is abundant in life, including food, money, shelter, love, relationships, and your self-confidence. It starts with recognizing our patterns and our behaviors in scarcity. So if you limit yourself, you will always feel limited. So Christian, you're scared to face the facts of rejection and fear. Guess what? Every guy that lives in abundance, every woman that lives in abundance, every person that lives in abundance has been rejected multiple times, has faced fear multiple times. It's about what do we do with the scarcity? What do we do with the fear to overcome, to become better in our relationships, our life, and with women just in general? Once we become great at life, you will become great at women. That's why I preach life so much, because I want to take that topic off of women all the time and make it life. Because what I do here is I teach and I train and I help and I advise men to be abundant in life. So naturally they become abundant with women, period. So here's the thing is when we go into scarcity, you limit yourself dating then the one girl that gives you the attention, right? So if you are a guy that doesn't step out of his comfort zone and maybe doesn't really approach or talk to women or go on online dating, go out on dates or communicate with other people or interact socially every once in a while or whatever the case may be, you limit yourself to dating, period. Then that one girl that walks in and gives you attention, right? You might be attracted to, but maybe she's just being friendly or maybe she's just having a conversation. But either way, this is a positive response to you. And you think, maybe she likes me. Maybe I have a chance to get her. Because to you, this is a rare opportunity. So then you go all in and then she's like, whoa, what's happening here? This is why we find ourselves in, I don't know, Apollonia. I don't know what I have to do. Like, what am I doing wrong? Well, sometimes it's because we're not actually developing the attraction and communication skills and going out there and meeting women. So then I want to talk about something that a lot of people don't talk about. And I'm so happy that I'm going to talk about it today. This is a good one. So then there's this thing called next level hidden scarcity. I don't know if a lot of you have heard of this, right? This is what I made it up to be. I call it the hidden scarcity, the next level hidden scarcity. This is when There's a man that thrives on getting a lot of women, right? So he's great with women and they do get a lot of women and they might get women that they're attracted to, but not at a great deal of attraction, right? But once that one woman they are heavily attracted to walks in, they become a different person and then they become obsessed and they're like, what in the world is happening? This is the one. This is the one, right? This is because the hidden scarcity was invalidating themselves with women they date or they sleep with instead of living abundantly. And this is what we're going to go into the topic. This is huge, guys. So many times I hear my guys start my sessions with, I know I'm not a normal guy that you probably coach because I get a lot of women. False. Like 70% of the men that I actually work with do get a lot of women. They find themselves in a lack and scarcity mentality when they find that one woman because they've been validating themselves and not working intentionally, innerly of a real abundance in regards to not seeking validation from women, but understanding that validation comes within themselves. So what they've been trained to do is, because I'm a hotshot, I get every woman, I don't have to work for a lot of women, then this means that I'm abundance. But when that trigger comes in of that real girl that they really, really like, they're like, oh my God, my value standards, where are those, right? Why am I chasing this woman? Oh my God, this is the one woman get away, that she might be the one. And even though she treats him like you know what, right? So this happens so much. There's a caveat to both of them, guys. No one of them is better. The abundance mentality in dating. All right. So abundance is honestly, guys, you have to be rejected from time to time in order to get to a place of abundance. And that saying rejection is redirection, but it is the truth when you acknowledge the fact that rejection is a part of life. A rejection doesn't always have anything to do with you. It also has something to do with you that stems from what we have to work on. So for example, a lot of times when people face rejection, they think it has to do with 100% of them. But a person might just be rejecting a part of you that needs to be worked on, right? Which is can be an easy fix, right? Let's just put this into a job. Maybe the job that you applied for or you asked for a raise for rejected your raise because you're not showing up to work on time, because you're not answering emails all the time, because your boss always has to ask you and follow up with you, and you're not making the due diligence to push forward, right? So that's a part of you that they reject, but then they say, but man, he has so much in him and he's so great at what he does, but I can't give him a raise because the small things is setting him back, right? So when we get rejected, we take that and we think, this is all of us. And instead, you have to understand the way that we get into abundance is understanding that rejection can be a small magnitude of what we are and what we need to work on. So that's why it's so important to be your inner critic. And that's what I'm going to give you in the steps today to leading to abundant mindset of what that is. Don't define rejection as all of you. It is that part of you that is really, really important to understand. Abundance mentality means that you don't have an attachment to an outcome. So let me explain. We are all humans. We are going to be attached to something or someone, whether we like it or not. But here's the difference. There's a difference between wanting and needing. We don't need to be attached to an outcome, but we only hope and want that this will work out. But it's not the defining of Brenda needs to work out. No, it's the woman that makes me feel great, that I can build a life together, that can make me a better man and have morals and values and respect. And we both have a mutual effort within one another. That's my vision. The need is Brenda. The want is the vision. So you have to choose, which one do you want, not need. And this is true abundance. So abundance also means, you know how I always say, and I should put it on a t-shirt, I should stamp it, I should trademark it, whatever I need to do. But pacing is the root of attraction. Within pace, a woman can see that you are high value. Within pace, a woman will be able to test your emotional stability. And also within pace, you will be able to screen women, AKA test them as well, as you should. So you take your time to see if this girl is special. by screening them instead of being infatuated so easily and investing your time and your emotions and energy so quickly to go nowhere. So, women want a man with emotional stability. This is inherited in us to feel as this is a safe man to be with. Okay. And so when a man doesn't have emotional stability or emotional regulation or is okay with himself, it shows a woman not only that obviously that you're not confident, there's this thing called masculine, feminine, yin and the yang, right? There is no such thing as a woman always being feminine, and there's no such thing as a man always being masculine. It's about understanding that you're intertwining in this dance together for the both of you to inherit these traits together. Yes, a man has to be a little bit more leading in the relationship because as a woman, naturally, this is our safe place where we can also step into our feminine, right? Or whoever that chooses to be masculine or feminine in the relationship. And so within this, when a man leads with integrity, and also too, when a woman leads with integrity and shows that she has morals and values, and you have morals and values, that's hard to come by. I always tell people, humans want to feel like they have to work for something. And that means a woman too. When we feel like we have to work for something, we appreciate it even 10 times more. As humans, we want to be able to work for something because it's gratifying to us. You too, guys. And so, you know that if here's the difference with abundance mentality is that when you get out of scarcity, what happens is your destination is not Brenda. Your destination is the want, not the need. Write that down. Your destination is the want, not the need. What happens is we get so fixated, we start thinking that we need this person. And we can't even take ourselves out of the illusional believing of fantasy because we got so deep in it. And sometimes we get in here because we have limited resources of women. This is the only woman that I've ever seen. But instead, you have to step out of there and focus on your wants. I want a woman that has standards for herself, integrity, good morals, and values that will respect me and respect herself. And also a woman that will ignite me to become a better man and the same vice versa, right? And so within this, and I want a woman to be able to be feminine. I want a woman to step into her feminine with me and be sexy and seductive and all this other stuff. So within this, if we get so focused on the need to make someone be this person, then we're going to step into our approval seeking behavior, scarcity, and we're lack because we feel like we're going to lose this person. So in order to change this around, you have to be able to successfully screen women, which we're going to be talking about on this YouTube series this week and how to do so. And then you have to know that someone else out there you can have a stronger bond with if this doesn't work out as well, guys, right? What's so important is to understand when you have a bond with someone, yes, as humans, when we are ignited by chemistry, we can feel so elated and not want to give up on that person because it's a limited feeling and we're not going to feel it again, we say, right? But that's not the truth. When you are someone that has a bond with somebody and it doesn't really work out because you only had chemistry, there was no consistency, no compatibility, no emotional regulation, no self-awareness by this woman or yourself, who knows? But you're just acting off of chemistry. And so you just want this bond, and this feeling of chemistry. But no, we're not looking at all the other things. You have to know that you can experience a stronger bond with another woman if this woman doesn't work out too, period. And then when you get off-centered, you know how to recenter yourself because you know the life that you're creating and want. You know the missions that you have in life and you want, and you know the purpose of your life and what you want. And so with that said, we revert and recenter ourselves back on the mission if it doesn't help us out. The first thing in regards to living in our abundance mindset, right, is I need you guys to understand that you need to retrain your brain. So what does that mean? Retraining your brain. You break down the negative patterns and negative thinking that it becomes a habit. So retraining your brain is part of breaking down your negative patterns and negative thinking. So how I always do this is I really tell you guys to journal or write it in your notepad, in your notes, right? Take out a notepad, and every time you have a negative thought, write it down and then examine, why are you believing that this is true? That is the question. Why am I believing that this is true? This girl doesn't like me. Why do I believe this is true? Well, because I'm scared to really show her who I am. And well, I really have a limited resources of women. Like, I don't really go out much. I haven't talked to a woman in 2 months. Then that's the truth. So what do we need to do to change that around? So retraining your brain, it takes anywhere, I believe, more than 60 days, but they say it takes 21 to 66 days to develop a new habit. But that's honestly 21 to 66 days. I believe it's more than 60 days, but to develop a new habit, but where it just becomes automatic, right? It doesn't mean, oh, it's going to be habit in 60 days. No, where it just starts to become automatic, guys. And so retraining our brain is a process. So if you want long-time results, you have to put in the investment. And part of the investment is becoming a member with us. Number 2 is you have to practice gratitude. So I want you to think of the stuff on the daily that you tell yourself. Oh, I'm too fat. Oh, I'm too ugly. I don't like my nose. Oh my gosh, I want to change this. I want to do this. Oh my gosh, this woman would never look at me. Oh my God, look at that guy. And we compare ourselves. Look at what kind of car he's driving, right? You need to practice gratitude and become more grateful of what you have instead of focusing on what you don't have. Optimism is key part of abundance. Optimism is a key part of abundance. So many of us become grateful when we focus on what we have instead of focusing on what we don't have. So many of us focus on what we don't have. And yes, it is so important to focus on that as motivation at times. There's a difference, because I have a vision of a want and I don't focus on just the need of Brenda or the need of becoming bestseller, right? New York bestseller. Because I know before I get there, I'm going to have to not become a New York bestseller first in order to become one. Right? So here's the difference is I'm practicing gratitude because I'm going to be appreciative of the small steps that are going to get me there. And so this is what you have to do. You have to be appreciative of the small steps that get you there. So next is the way that we're going to start getting into abundance is you have to meet new people. You have to get out there and really just look at this as like, I need to possibly, if you're someone that is not really putting yourself out there to meet women, you have to put yourself out there to make friends at least. So how can you meet people? There's Eventbrite, there's things, Google, look it up in your area, become part of our membership here. You can see it in the chat box. So you can enroll at $37 a month. So you can actually meet people and meet other guys to go out with in your area and actually travel with. We have so many guys doing this. This is a brotherhood community that I developed that I wanted to do because more than ever these days, men need other men to not only bring them up, but to communicate with and to see that other men that have gone or going through the same things as you and actually be another brother to someone else to land a hand on. All right. The next one is be open and be vulnerable with yourself. Why? So many times we think vulnerability is gushing out all of our emotions. No, vulnerability is owning your emotions, right? Scarcity mentality is actually fear. So fear is a fear of being alone, fear of being rejected. Embrace these fears and welcome rejection and welcome growth, right? Be open in these areas that you can be open in. Because if you can't be open with yourself, how are you going to be able to open and actually be open with another woman, another friend, another person in front of you? Because as humans, we want what gives us an experience of wanting to see someone again or continue to think about this person is because we're connecting with that person. And when we connect, it's because we feel like this person is open. But after a while, especially for women, if we date a guy that's only surface and he's giving us surface level responses and he's not really open with who he is, we feel that. And it's kind of like a disconnect. And so what is really important is that we get out, and this is number 5, we get out of tunnel vision. And so tunnel vision can be, I'm limited. As the beautiful thing as humans is we can recreate anything in our life. All I can do is hope for the best outcome, but within the best outcome, I know who I truly am as a person. I have a mission, I have purpose, I have goals, and I love myself, and I know I will be okay. Because some things in life we don't have control over. A lot of things in life we don't have control over. Number 6 is do something that will make you feel better. Surface level something. Here's the thing is I talk a lot about internal work, but external work is really important too. When you put on a nice outfit, you're feeling yourself, you're going to feel better when you go out, for sure. When you're feeling yourself, you're going to feel better. When you lose weight, you're going to feel better. When you get a fresh haircut, you're going to feel better. When you get maybe a treatment on your face because you had acne and it goes away, you're going to feel better, right? This is something I want you to do. Do something that will make you feel better on a surface, right? It can be lose weight. It can be gaining weight. It can be working out. You have to work out because this is what gets our mindset to become better as well, guys. When our mindset is not good within ourselves, what happens is we do not focus on who we are and we're not present with ourselves. It's kind of like we're living in a delusion and we're living on everybody else's requirements of who they want us to be when we don't have that like personal relationship with ourselves. And then number 7 is re-examine the people who are in your life. So many people are like, oh, I have to be friends with this person because we've been friends for 12 years, but yet they're negative Nancy. They put you down every chance they get. And you literally find yourself not feeling abundant around them. Just because someone has been in your life for 10 years doesn't mean that they have to be in your life forever. So you have to re-examine the people that are in your life. And so what's really important is that you're starting to make yourself and re-examine the people who are in your life. So if you want to get better with re-examining the people in your life and creating better relationships with not only women, but you have to do it with men too. There's so many men that don't have this brotherhood community and they're like, how do I even make this happen? I can't even see it in front of me. Click the link here and become a part of our membership. This is a $37 a month investment. Let's go into number 8 is you have to reframe your thinking and really look at yourself in a third person perspective, guys. All right. So remember on number 1, I said retrain your brain. Well, this is about how you retrain your brain is by looking at yourself at a third person perspective. So in that moment, when I stepped out of third person and I was like, I feel overwhelmed, I claimed it. And honestly, it went away. So what happens in our brain, and actually Dr. Leaf is his video is going to be posted in the membership program. She's a huge scientist that has done studies on the human brain. And we talked about the obsession mind and the lack mindset and so much in regards to the brain. And one of the things is when we step into third person, it gives us a general idea. Our mind, which is our energy, actually gravitates to, oh, I'm controlling this and making sense of it. So now the brain can be triggered and say, oh, that thought wasn't healthy. And then number 9 is learn flirting, learn dating and having fun doing it instead of looking at it as a chore. Remember, dating is an assessment process when you're dating women, but also you should be able to successfully screen women. So what we have to understand, guys, is if we're not having fun in dating and we're not knowing how to really converse with women and flirting, then this is your time to invest in yourself. What you've experienced today with me is just a tidbit of what we do in our membership. So what we do is we give you a topic and every month is a different topic. And what we'll do is we'll definitely go in there and give a topic and give a teaching and advice, but then we open it up to Q&A. You can get coached on the spot and so much more. I will see all of you in the membership that have signed up, and much love. Have a great day.